Yep. Hello, welcome to my channel Uncut Africa Live. I tried to come on live right now and there was a little issue, but we have sorted it out and it's good. Today, we are going to touch a topic which is very sensitive, but we have to touch it. At the end of the day, it's all about the well-being of Africa. It's all about the well-being of Africa. Africa leaders, we need leaders who are very brave. How things are going, at the end of the day, we need leaders who are very brave. We have to be honest and we have to be very bold for us to succeed as Africa as a continent. I've been going around reading posts from African youth. I've been going on and trying to make sense of what is happening across the continent. So I normally follow a lot of Africans from different African countries, and there is a trend that I have realized, which is most of the youth has really given up when it comes to the Africa as a continent. Most of the youth has really given up because they feel there is no hope when it comes to African leadership. There is no hope when it comes to African leadership. For quite some time now, since last year, Ghana economy has become a little bit difficult, and it's not only Ghana. I have read through Nigerian economy, I have read through Kenyan economy, I have read through a lot of African economy, and I have realized many African countries are going through difficult times. Many African countries are going through difficult times. So I decided to address one or two issues concerning African leadership. Majority of African leaders, as we always say, has been kind of a puppet for the Western countries. Most of African countries seems to be listening to Western countries in terms of taking any decisions. So it is making our governance, our form of governance, hollow and unproductive. It is making our in terms of governance, Africa leadership have nothing to offer. Because recently I did a content concerning Kenyan president, who is William Ruto, and I realized he just signed an initiative with Saudi Arabia where he is sending Kenyans to go and work so that they can be paid. And if a leader can sign such agreements, I don't know the benefits that will bring the Kenyan government, but I think that decision is somehow a failed one. It means you have failed. You have failed to create employment to your citizens. You have failed to implement policies which you presented to your country, your countrymen and your countrywomen. Because at the end of the day, sending Kenyans to Saudi Arabia is somehow slavery. Now, in terms of slavery, we are the one initiating slavery. Since last year, Ghana youth has been trumpeting the ideology of traveling outside. Everybody is traveling outside. Now, when you go to Ghana airport, majority of the youths are leaving, and they don't care where they are going. They don't care what they will do. They don't care how they will be treated outside there. They are just traveling. Wherever they go, you can see people traveling to Kuwait. You can see people traveling to Jordan. I was even surprised to realize a lot of Ghanaians are in Gaza when the conflict started. We saw Ghanaians in Gaza. So, with all African resources, with all what we have, with our virgin lands, we are going to sit down for the youth to give up on the continent. Majority are traveling. Majority are also hopeless, walking around, having no job to do. There is also one issue I want us to discuss. When Ghana signed a contract with IMF, they decided to put a ban on public institutions, so the government cannot even employ the youth. The government cannot even employ the youth. So at the end of the day, a lot of Ghanaians complete school, and at the end of the day, they can't even find a job to do. That is why I use these three men, Ibrahim Traore, who is the Burkina Faso president, and Tichani, who is Niger, and the Malian president. I use them as the thumbnail. So far, they are the leaders who seems to understand what their citizens were going through. They are the leaders who seems to get the memo of what Malians are going through, what Niger were going through, what Burkina Faso were going through. Now, Ibrahim Traore is putting up initiatives that is going to help Burkina Faso to develop. Ibrahim Traore is now trying to build nuclear plants so that it can supply them electricity. Ibrahim Traore is now putting up a factory that is going to refine gold. Now Burkina Faso, some time to come, are no more going to depend on France as it used to be. Now Burkina Faso is putting up measures that is going to help the country to develop. Niger has also taken the lead by cancelling all the contracts that they had with France. At the end of the day, they were not benefiting anything from France. France were just taking Niger lithium, and at the end of the day, Niger don't get anything out of it. But this lithium were powering France, 30% of France nuclear reactors. So these three men are trying to tell African leaders something. That's with hard work, we can do everything by ourselves. With hard work, we can put up measures that we are going to control our own narratives. We don't have to always be dependent on foreign aid. We don't have to always be dependent on loans. IMF will give you loans, but the rules around these loans is unbearable. Recently, Ghana wanted to stop importing some products. Ghana wanted to stop importing some product, and IMF told them it's not possible because the contract we signed with you don't allow you to import anything. They don't allow you to stop importing anything, because at the end of the day, they want you to import more Western products. So in terms of rice, in terms of what do we call it, in terms of oil, in terms of everything, Ghanaians wanted to stop importing, but IMF told them, no, you can't stop importing, you have to keep importing. And me and you, I didn't do any economy, but through what I've heard and what I've read, a lot of imports brings down your local currency. A lot of imports bring down your local currency, and at the end of the day, things are always going to keep being expensive, and we are going to sit down and just looking at it like this. That's why I said, where we are now, Africa need bold and brave leaders who can take decisions and without being cowed or without being afraid. Africa need that type of leadership. Burkina Faso is doing it. Niger is doing it. Mali is doing it. So how can't the other African countries take the same measurement? Because we can't be always using this old way of ruling for us to develop, because at the end of the day, we keep on going for loans. Many African countries only depends on loans. We hardly even generate money in our own country, and the small ones they will generate too, they will misuse it. The politicians will misuse it, because at the end of the day, the democracy we are practicing, the democratic system we are practicing has allowed a lot of people to be corrupt. A lot of people are being corrupt at the moment, because ministers, state managers, state institution managers, CEOs, many of them are being corrupt because the democratic systems we are practicing is really allowing them to be corrupt. Now, you can't go looking for a job without being asked to pay something. Somebody who has just completed university and looking for a job still have to gather money to go and pay for someone before you can get employed. What is going on in Africa? The youth has given up. The youth are now hopeless, because most of them has taken their bag and they don't even know where they are going. They just want to go and leave Africa alone, because at the end of the day, they complete school and they can't find jobs to do. What exactly can Africa do to rectify these problems? What exactly? You can share your mind. I've heard Kwesi Mia, uranium and not lithium for nuclear power plants. Okay, uranium and not lithium. Okay, he meant uranium, but rather not. I think I said lithium. Yeah, okay. Thanks. So what can Africans do to rectify whatever happening in Africa? Because the leadership we are practicing at the moment is not really working out. The way we are going through the way we are practicing our political system is really not helping the continent. Majority are just working, knowing whatever they do. A lot of people want to go to entrepreneurship, but the system which has been put, you can start your own entrepreneurship, or you can start something small, and electricity is going to, You are you can't, the electricity is not always sustainable. There will be power rationing, and at the end of the day, your business will go down. Businesses are going down. Things are becoming tougher. So what can Africans do to rectify these problems? I have set up a Telegram group. So those who want to join this Telegram group, you can go to my description box and you can see a Telegram link. You can click on it and join this group. Let's have discussion on this group for us to understand where Africa, if we can put Africa in the right direction. Many things are happening in the continent. Look at what is happening in DRC. Look at what is happening in Sudan. A lot of things are happening that anytime you sit down and try to imagine what is happening in Africa, you think about it and you don't understand what is really happening in Africa. And I'm always saying, if we were able to unite, maybe things should have been a little bit better than what we are experiencing at the moment. United Africa should have really helped. But now that the unity has become so difficult to happen, what can Africans do to succeed? How can Africans do? What are we going to do to really build the youth confidence when it comes to the continent? Because the youth has really lost confidence. The youths are running away. And if you hear some of the countries many Africans are running away to, you are going to be sad. And when they travel to these countries, they are being mistreated. Africans are not loved in many countries. Black people are not loved in many countries. So I think many Africans shouldn't have traveled if they can find something to do in their home country. Because if you travel out there, wherever you go, when you go to Asia, you are facing racial abuse. When you go to Europe, you are facing racial abuse. Even America, where they have huge amount of African Americans who are blacks, they are also facing racial abuse. Discrimination everywhere. So I don't think any African is happy traveling. But most of them don't have choices. Most of them has lost hope. Most of them want to go to a place where they can get money to come and take care of their family. It's very difficult issues to discuss, but sometimes we have to discuss it. Africa need change. Africa need revolution. We can't be sitting here and be pampering these old men who seems to be using leadership as a bonus career. Now when a leader is about to go to pension, then he would think, okay, I can be a leader. I can, with the money I have gotten, I can pay my way through to become a leader of this country. And people will push them to become leaders. So old men who has nothing to offer are the one leading Africa. People who don't care about how people succeed. People who are not patriotic are the ones that keep on ruling African countries. A lot of leaders don't even know their whereabouts. Recently, I watched a video of Nigerian President Tinubu at the climate change conference they did at, I think, Dubai or UAE. And he gave a speech, and people were just sitting there laughing because at the end of the day, they didn't even understand what he was driving at. He was just talking like somebody who don't know what to say. It was a very sad situation. It was something that I sat back and I reflected like, so if this leader is ruling a country, how is this country going to succeed? If this is your leader, how is your country going to succeed? Africa has sprinkled a little bit of what we can offer, and we have realized what is happening. Nigeria decided to sprinkle talent of music. Nigerians have sprinkled a little bit of Nigerian music, and their music is everywhere. Ghana in 2019 initiated Year of Return, and this initiative has become a festival, and everybody is trying to travel to Ghana every December. So if we can implement initiatives like this that can be successful, how can't we initiate good economic policies that is going to help build this continent? Look at Nigerian music now. Wherever you go, Nigerian music has taken over. Somebody said, Benbow, he said, Tinubu is a waste of energy. Nigerians will get you. Nigerians sprinkled a little bit of music and it's all over the world. Ghana implements initiative of Year of Return and beyond the return, and look at the miracles that is doing. So let us put initiate, but the whole leadership in Ghana is like, in Africa, sorry, not Ghana, no. The whole the system of African politics has become something like a joke. Yeah, I want to also, it's like I want to also chop some. This is it's my time. I have to come and chop some. So these people come to power without no proper policies that will help build the country. It's about time, Africa, we sit up. It's about time we have to do something. What I have realized is, I used to have an idea of Africans forming movements that will help dictate political elections in African countries. That was my initial idea, that we can form a movement, youth movement or whatever movement across Africa that can dictate any elections in any African countries. So let's say we have an initiative called Africa Links. We have Kenya branch, we have Ghana branch. We make sure we are able to organize capacity in Kenya that can have influence on Kenyan election. We have the same movement in Ghana that can also influence Ghana election. That was my idea. But I realized sometimes even if you win power in Africa, not necessarily you are the one who is going to be given. You can win the election, but they are not going to give it to you because the electoral commissioner will be threatened to declare another person winner, and there is nothing you can do. That is what I have realized. So I sat back and thought of it, that this even initiative can also not work, because at the end of the day, it's all about who is holding the power. So Burkina Faso people has been lucky. Niger has been lucky. We were not really happy about coup in Africa, but with what has been happening across Africa, what has been happening, how leaders has chipped in themselves. Now anytime we hear about coup, we start jubilating, because we have realized majority of the leaders who has been put in power are just puppets serving their puppet masters. It's very sad. And I wish we have the power to do something. I wish we have, I don't know, because I don't know if we should start grooming our own leaders, because the way things are going is very sad. The way things are going is really not helping, because if I read now, people like us, those who are trying to project Africa in the limelight, and we are trying to tell people about the good side of Africa. Anytime we see somebody, an African, talking negative about African continent, and you try to go and enlighten the person, you end up being alone, because it seems majority of the youth has made up their mind that Africa countries or African countries is not worth dying for. African countries are just another tragedy or another time bomb which is about to be destroyed. Let me read this comment from King Kinyada. In my opinion, Thomas Sankara is the blueprint on how a leader for Africa should be. And so far, Ibrahim Traore is the closest in the mold. And if the leader is not like him, then he is a traitor. He's a traitor. Yes, so Mr. King Kenyada, I've read your comment. Yes, Thomas Sankara is one of the brave African leaders who came, but unfortunately, he was eliminated. Most of the African leaders, one thing that we also have to ask is, how come every leader who try to do something good for African continent find himself being eliminated? Because I've addressed that question before, because at the end of the day, a lot of leaders like Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, a lot of them are somehow being eliminated when they try to do something good for Africa. That is why I'm always saying the current leaders whom the Western countries love too much, most of them are just puppets. Africa has anything. If you go to my village, like my village for instance, we have so much land, and these lands are fertile. But you realize we have been brainwashed, we have been westernized. These lands are just there and no one is farming on them. No one is doing anything on these lands. Everybody wants to come to the city and work. Everybody wants a white-colored job. We have been brainwashed and we are still being brainwashed. If we are still not being brainwashed, how can somebody decide to travel all the way to Kuwait or travel all the way to Jordan to go and work instead of having faith in his country and try to make it work here? Majority are selling their houses to travel. Majority are selling their lands to travel, just to travel. What is happening in Africa? But the funny thing is, whilst they are running away, foreigners are rather coming to Ghana or coming to Africa to do big investments, and at the end of the day, when they finish investing, they take all their profits to their country to go and build their economy. Ibrahim Traore has so far been, his demeanor, his policies, whatever he's doing has so far been great. Ibrahim Traore has been great. Things he has been doing portray a leader who is ready to project his country to a higher height. So recently, these three countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger has formed a confederation or a federation that is going to act to build this three-country economy. That is a good idea. Like a federation like ECOWAS is compromised. ECOWAS is compromised. Even African Union is compromised. These people can't even take decisions that will support the well-being of the continent. We are just not getting the memo. Africans are not just getting the memo. Please go to my description box. There is Telegram link. Click on it and let's take these discussions to Telegram as we are trying to build a movement to share our ideas. A movement that can bring ideas to also add our quota to the development of the African continent. As I still have strength and energy, I'm always going to trumpet the good image of Africa. We don't have to lose hope. People like Ibrahim Traore and the other leaders are giving us hope. I'm praying Burkina Faso change the scenario. A lot of people are saying that he's not going to do anything. It's going to be a business as usual. He's going to amass properties and so and this that. I'm praying for him to do things that will benefit the Burkinabe people. We just want leaders to set example. We want leaders that can set example. We have to start from somewhere. We need leaders that are going to help build this continent. We don't need leaders who are just going to fight for their friends and family. We need it's just sad. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. As I said, please don't forget to go through my description and click on the Telegram link and join us on Telegram. Join us on Telegram as we are trying to form a movement that can share our ideas. There is a story I want to tell you, all of you. Somewhere in 2006, I have opportunity to travel to Kenya. I was able to travel to Kenya before I went. I didn't know much about Kenya because I was very young. I have just completed senior high school, and my uncle, who was working with the UN, decided to take me to Kenya. Before I went, as I said, I didn't know much about Kenya. The only memory I have of Kenya is their athletes. So their athletes were the ones whom we project as Kenyans. So when we were going, we were all thinking, Kenya is another African country which they have nothing to offer. So I decided to go and experience Kenya. When I got there, I got shocked of how Kenya, it started from the airport, how Kenya was developed. It was a beautiful country. When I got to Nairobi, it was a very beautiful country. So when I got to Kenya and I was able to experience Kenya because I schooled in Kenya, I did all my multimedia, I stayed in Kenya for 5 years. So when every Christmas I used to come to Ghana, and when I come, friends will be asking me, hey, so Kenya, do they have beautiful buildings? Do they have that? Do they have beautiful women? Do they have? And I told them, so what were you thinking Kenya is? Kenya is, that time Nairobi was beautiful. It's still beautiful. But that time, when I got there, coming from Accra to Nairobi, Nairobi was on point. Nairobi was one of the beautiful cities I have ever stepped in. So I told my friend that, Charlie, Kenya is a beautiful country, and Kenya has somehow have beautiful people. And they were shocked, like, oh, are you sure? Are you there? I told them. So what I realized was, these friends knew a lot of things about US. These friends knew a lot of things about UK. They knew a lot of things about Germany. They knew a lot of things about Italy. But they didn't know much about Kenya. That's where I started thinking, so how come we are all in the same continent, but we don't even know much about ourselves? Ghanaians don't know much about Kenyans. Kenyans don't know much about Ghanaians. It's recently that social media is bridging the gap. But even what we are using to bridge the gap is more negative than positive. On social media, Ghana and Kenya are just doing, Ghana, Nigeria, we are just doing comparison. We don't share anything that will bring progress to the African continent. What I have also realized is anytime you do content on YouTube, and this content is about comparison, comparing one country to another country, you are going to get a lot of views. But anytime it's about something productive, you are going to get less views, because I've realized humans want things that are more competitive than building things that are going to help improve people's life. So when you, in Africa, ask other African countries about the other African countries, you realize they don't know much about, we don't know much about ourselves. Culturally, musically, I can't even mention 2 musicians from Namibia. I can't mention just one musician from Ivory Coast. But I can mention tons amount of musicians from US. So I think it's about time, Africa, we have to partner with each other. Like right now, Nigerians has been able to project their music. I think it's better they collaborate with other African musicians. Every African country got talent, just that they don't have the opportunity. Every African country have beautiful landscape to showcase, just that they don't have the opportunity. So it's about time we collaborate among each other. It's about time Ghanaians learn much about Kenyans, Ghanaians learn much about South Africans, Ghanaians learn much about Namibians, Ghanaians learn much about Ivorians. If we are able to learn much about each other, that will be the starting point of the unity of Africa. Let's start from somewhere. Let's build it gradually. But first, let's learn from each other. Let's learn each other's culture. Let's learn each other's language. Let's learn each other's lifestyle. Let's learn among ourselves, and that will be the starting point of African unity. And if African unite, that will be the starting point of how great things are going to come from Africa. Yes, a lot of people don't think the unity of Africa will help. But imagine South Africa going to the world markets with Ghana as one entity to sell good. Imagine Ghana going to the world market with Ivory Coast to sell cocoa. That will be the beginning of the great things that are going to come from Africa. We may not experience it, but I pray one day Africa is going to unite. But before our unity, let's learn from each other. Let me read Jamala. Brother, please say the name of the other leaders. Okay. We have Ibrahim Traore, Tichani, the Malian leader. His name has really skipped me, but I know Tichani and Ibrahim Traore, but the Malian leader, the name has skipped me small. Forgive me, the name has skipped me. It was in my head. So as I was saying, let's come together. Let's build Africa together. So before I leave, please, as I said, go through the description box and click on the Telegram link and join. Let's join hands together on Telegram for us to share our mind. And I think it's going to help us all, which will also benefit the continent of Africa. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button so that anytime I upload any great content, you will be notified. Let me reg on music, great and peace. I appreciate you, Regmon music. I really appreciate you. You have been supporting this channel. Anytime I come on live, I realize you also join us and you are always commenting. I do appreciate you. I don't know if you are a musician, but if you are a musician, I'm going to look for your channel and listen to some of your music so that I can also share on my other platforms to support you. Regmon Music. If you are a musician, let me know. I'm also going to share your work on other platforms. I do appreciate everyone who has been joining me when I come on live and who has also been joining me and watching my content. I do appreciate all of you. We are doing all this for the well-being of the African continent. Subscribe to my channel and we are going to get a whole lot of good content coming from all corners of Africa. Regmon Music, yes, I'm a musician here in Tacoma, Washington, US. Oh, that's nice. Regmon Music, okay. I'm going to look for some of your work and support you. Rotati, blessing, my brother. Yeah, blessing too. Blessing too. Please, you should join my Telegram group by going to the description and clicking on the Telegram link, and it's going to take you straight to Uncut Africa Live channel on Telegram. We are trying to, it's a new group I just formed. We are trying to put things, share our views and build up from scratch and make sure we succeed in the continent. Thanks you all for watching. I will be back. This Christmas holidays, I may be here a lot. I'll be doing a lot of live and I hope you're all going to watch me. So just click on your notification button so that anytime I come on live, you are going to get the notification to enjoy our live. I do appreciate all of you. We will meet very soon. Maybe even tomorrow I can come on live. Depending on if I'm less busy, I'll be live here tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.